Welcome back, everybody. Nice to have you here again for one of our last presentations for the day. Only one will follow after that. This time we will be in English again, and we will hear from Evan Schwartz about AMCS leading software solution for paper recycling. And he will tell us a little bit about their software and the use cases, as well as how especially all the data you collect can help you make business decisions. And yeah, they have a software purpose built for the whole paper recycling industry, but I don't want to talk too much about it and let him have the stage in a few seconds. One more thing, I would invite all of you to join our LinkedIn group to network with each other. And yeah, let's go, Evan. Have fun, and I'm really excited to see what AMCS can do.
Welcome to the AMCS presentation for recycling of paper. What we're going to look at today is how AMCS addresses some of the unique challenges in the paper recycling industry, and how we've taken technology to add efficiencies, to add increased quality, and how to add for planning and logistics. So I'm going to switch to a presentation deck and sort of walk you through this. So when we talk about AMCS's solution as a whole, it's an entire technology stack. While we do drill deep into individual processes, and the business process is a critical component to how AMCS gains those efficiencies, we apply technology in a very discriminate way that is productive to the process. So when we're talking about recycled paper, there are some key areas of interest that the AMCS technology can really focus on. Logistics. A large part of the costs is moving material around. So that's a big part that we focus on. Quality. Grocery store, whether that's a MRF facility that is packing material, that's really where things start, is the ability to have identities around these vendor relationships, to be able to quality check these vendors and put them into various categories. And the reason you'd want to do that is there's going to be some vendors and some sources that always produce high quality. I don't want to spend a lot of time grading material that I know is coming in high quality. I may have an internal MRF that I know that has quality standards at the source, so I can fast track those through my receiving facility. That's a level of efficiency to where I can get high quality with very low cost attached to it. Having a system that understands different vendors and the quality that those vendors bring to the table is going to be key, because having a broadsword type of quality management system or inbound quality evaluation process is not very efficient. But if you can target certain vendors or suppliers whose quality is low and fast track those that you know have high quality, you're going to have a very efficient grading process. You're going to reduce traffic in the mill, and you're going to be able to maximize the utilization of your grading and breakdown resources, because you know exactly who to look at. And you can still put audit checks into the system. The system can randomly go ahead and let's double check those suppliers that have good material, and let's make sure they still have good material. So having a system that you can think up front, you can spend a lot of time thinking about your rules, thinking about your processes, and codify that in the system, and then just let the system handle it, really drives efficiencies all the way through the process. So when we start talking about vendor and supplier management, it all starts with demand planning. At the end of the day, I'm trying to get a jumbo roll of brown paper out the other end, trying to create a finished product. So to be able to do that, I know that I need, if I'm producing X number of tons of finished paper, I need X plus Y number of tons of a variety of source material. Whether that's mixed paper, whether that's OCC, whether it's DLK, whatever the mix in the material is for your recipe, you understand that you need so many tons of that material to produce X number of tons of finished goods. And that's where AMCS demand planning comes in. This allows your mill operations manager to look at inventory, see what's in the mill right now, what am I expecting to produce, what's my demand plan, what's my production for this given month, and then what do I need to go source. And the system knows all your suppliers. The system knows all the contracts for those suppliers, knows all your freight hauling supplier contracts for delivery of that material. And since it knows all of that in the background, it's making recommendations on not only what is the best cost for material, but it also knows what is the capacity for that supplier. Can that supplier deliver 30 loads this month? And how do I spread those out across a calendar view? And how can I make sure that I'm not creating high risk bottlenecks at my scale? How can I even out the flow, meet my demand, meet my weekly production schedule, and ultimately meet my end of month production plan? So having a single tool that allows any one of your production managers to work with all of those angles, and it's got counters that it's working with the planner. Okay, so the way that it adds the efficiency is if I need to source 4,000 tons of material, then I've got 2,000 inventory, I need 2,000 tons to meet my production plan. It shows me how I can divide those up amongst my suppliers. And I get to go in and look at that plan and say, okay, I'm gonna put 2 loads on this day, 3 loads on that day, and it's deducting from the plan's goal as you're allocating those. Now, all of that's just in planning, nothing's been committed. So it gives you the ability to work and figure out what my total costs are against all those contracts, what my total freight hauling charges are against all those contracts. And then I can go through and get confirmation. I can set my plan up, I can make phone calls, it'll send out automatic notifications with release numbers. Hey vendor, can you get this and deliver this? Hey freight hauler, can you go pick this up and deliver this? And it just ties the entire demand plan process month over month into a single easy to use process. Once you've got your plan for the month done, it's a single click and it creates all the orders, it creates all the releases, it sends out all the notifications and gets that material flowing. And then throughout the month, the operations manager can pull up the demand plan if a vendor can't meet their commitment or there's a breakdown in a freight hauler, and I can quickly reassign materials and I can quickly reassign freight and get those orders reissued and keep myself on plan, and it tracks against the plan. My plan was X number of loads per week. I can pull up and say, here was the plan. What are my actuals? What's coming in at the scale? And once I see those tickets, I can now see how I'm running against plan throughout the month, which makes it a very easy, very efficient, and I can work my costs and my factors all within a single place. And it takes a job that takes hours and hours and hours for operation managers, and they can now turn that into minutes. Once I have a workable plan, once I've got my vendors in place and I've got my freight haulers in place, I'm able to take that plan month over month, bring over all of that work and just tweak it for that month. And so now, after the very first month of planning, it gets extremely efficient on post and subsequent months as I'm negotiating new contracts. Now, hand in hand with demand planning is the ability to ensure quality. Now, there's been a lot of focus on contamination within various loads, but while the solution is detecting it, one of the things that AMCS goes to the next level is also how to solve the contamination problem. I do want to know that there's contamination in my loads. That's very important. I don't want to ruin a production run if I've got contamination in my load, and I don't want to be paying for water weight. So all of our inbound quality evaluation tools give you all the capability to really track down a load, split quality, split the load up into multiple pieces, reject partial loads. So you have all of that flexibility to really maximize the value of that load, to do chargebacks, to do, I'm rejecting a couple of bales, I'm gonna put them down here on the side, Mr. Vendor, you can come pick them up, or I'm gonna charge you to haul these out to the landfill, right? So you have all of that management power to really negotiate with your vendor. But the true value of the inbound quality evaluation is because we give you a very easy, mobile, real, process-driven way of tracking this data all the way down to moisture content, contamination contents, outthrows, non-conformance. I can even get to a point where I ordered a load of OCC, but 3 of those bales are mixed paper. My facility takes mixed paper, but that's not what I ordered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to negotiate a different price, likely lower price, for the 3 bales of mixed paper you stuck on my OCC load, because that's not what I asked for, right? It gives you that negotiating power. And more importantly, once I have all that information collected and I'm seeing that a vendor or a supplier is providing less than quality material, I can put that in a very readily digestible report so I can have a conversation with my suppliers. Because the goal isn't really to be punitive against your suppliers. The goal is to give your suppliers the information they need to raise the quality of their product to you. Because once you have a strong quality of material sourcing in, your risks for your production line go way down. The amount of material you're having to throw back into the repulper goes down, and you're able to meet demands and have expectations and predictability in your production schedule. And that's really what it's all about. You can't get efficiencies if you have unexpected delays, unexpected contamination, shortfalls in inventory. You need a system that is feeding you the information so you can make business decisions, and you can really hone in what are those contamination areas, what are the outflows, what are the non-conformances, what are the rejected materials that you want to make sure never get put into your inventory. And that maximizes that you're paying for what you need to be able to produce the product you're looking for. The third piece of that is inventory within the yard and the ability to properly manage warehouse level inventory. I need to move certain types of grades and material around my yard because depending on the product that I'm producing is going to require a different recipe. So having strong inventory management and knowing what's in my yard and being able to do audits. If I've got stacks of bales sitting out on concrete out in the sun, I'm going to have burn down. How do I manage that? How can I predict that? How can I automate some of this process that's feeding me and doing these routine jobs over and over again? So when it comes down to looking at what are the efficiencies in recycled paper that AMCS brings to the table, key to it is the ability to manage a demand plan, to be able to get everything ordered, get the logistics managed, and get it shipped and delivered in as inexpensive and efficient way possible. And then the next step is to make sure that what is delivered is of the highest quality possible. And then the third piece is to make sure that you're properly tracking inventory, which feeds back your demand planning so that you're buying only what you need or what is strategically beneficial to that operations. As prices go and dip very low, it might be advantageous to overstuff inventory because you're at a very generous price point in the market. You can start making those kinds of business decisions when all the headache of tracking that is done for you with a fully integrated end-to-end system. So if we were to look at the way that the AMCS process application works, it manages through sourcing of the material, the freight and managing that material through containers, hauling it, and getting it scaled into a receiving facility, and recycling that material. And once that material is recycled or processed or put into your finished goods, it'll even help control material sales, outbound logistics. And then finally, the critical piece to all operations is the ability to account for it. All of the operations that you do, costs as well as sales, so that you can manage profitability. So when you look at a holistic system and you look at your processes vertically from sourcing to containers to hauling to scaling to processing, sales, and accounting, you look at that process, you have to also understand what is under the hood. And in today's age, we're seeing more and more from a continuity standpoint, the fact that all of these processes live in a cloud architecture and are not landlocked into a particular facility benefits my business as a whole. I can operate from anywhere. And when you start to look at your business is anywhere your people are, and the systems come to your people and give your people the ability to drive these processes and drive these efficiencies and do this reporting, it is of a significant increase in efficiency and productivity. So beneath the processes is all of the functional capabilities within the system that's end-to-end. That includes your enterprise management, your vehicle technology, your mobile workforce, your digital engagement, and of course, reporting and analytics. If you don't have visibility into your systems and you cannot get the data back out of the systems that you're putting into it, you're not getting value out of the system. So making sure that you have the ability to have that visibility into what is efficient, what's not efficient. Am I getting the best cost per ton of the material that I'm trying to source? How do I know? Am I spending too much for freight? How do I know? Am I rejecting too much material? Am I sending too much of the material I paid for to the landfill? How do you know? So having the ability to have a holistic system that is feeding this data into a single analytics process is critical to efficiencies. Sitting on top of an architecture that allows you to run your business from anywhere is, in today's world, mission critical. We have been seeing a lot of customers across the world in the paper recycling business in particular having challenges around the new normal. And really where they're seeing their challenges is landlocked technology. So having a technology from a continuity perspective that is accessible from anywhere, that is robust, is secure, has scaling capabilities to be able to scale up or scale down with your business as it's needed, is one of the critical aspects of a business, particularly in the recycling, when you're playing with a commodity that can go up and down in margins of one day I'm paying for it and one day I'm charging for the delivery of that material. So you really have to work out your margins and efficiencies through your process, your delivery, your freight, and inventory management. Having a system that can operate anywhere gives you those capabilities. And the last piece, particularly in the new normal, is a system that is easy to use. From a user experience standpoint, and what we're seeing as a trend in the industry is that fewer people are doing more things. Before the pandemic, before COVID, we had highly expert resources working in very vertical industries. And now we're seeing generalists moving into these fields having to take on a variety of roles based on changes to capacity. So having a system that is intuitive, easy to learn, easy to do the specific role function that I need to do, and let it do most of that processing and thinking is going to add efficiencies and allow you to get the most out of the workforce that you have. So in conclusion, for the paper and recycling business, what it boils down to is having a system that's end-to-end, that offers all the flexibility that you need to get the expert efficiencies out of your source material, get them across your scale, get them accounted for, and getting it producing your software. The AMCS Solution platform provides that end-to-end solution across your processes, across the technology functions that are required, across the continuity, and ultimately makes it easy for your employees to leverage that technology and use it. It is extremely user-friendly.
Well, thank you, Evan. Thank all of you for attending. That was the presentation on AMCS software on paper recycling. Thank you all for attending. I would welcome all of you for our next presentation from John Shagarian from ERA, who will talk about recycling electronics, protecting the planet and your privacy. I'm very interested to see how that works. And yeah, we will start at 6 p.m. as John is going to be live from the USA, and he will just wake up when we nearly in the evening. So I'm hoping to see all of you again and wish you a nice evening to the others. Bye bye.